of the view that what we are doing here is making this country a more difficult place for development to happen. And we need development. We have a growing population. We need other values too. I mean, people talk about the maintenance of rural Ireland. But I mean, again, to go back to those places in Roscommon that I mentioned, it's good to get out of Dublin sometimes and to see communities dying on their feet for want of young people to play in the local football club, banks evaporating, pubs closing, hotels now closing for various reasons, the economy atrophying, main streets just mouldering, huge forces taking place in rural Ireland, which deprives rural Ireland of its meaning. And on the other hand, we have, and I hope they won't take exception to this, the Green lobby saying we must live in villages. We must increasingly live in towns and villages. It's wrong to have one-off housing. Look at an old Ordnance Survey map. Look at all the little black squares where people used to live. They don't live there anymore. They're all deserted or falling down, abandoned houses. Nobody can, in some areas of the country, even get a quarter of an acre from their parents to build a house because they want to live close to their parents. People are told that the problem is that if they did build there, they'd have a transport problem which would be inconsistent with national energy policy, or alternatively that the sewage arrangements wouldn't be as collective as they would be in a village or a town. All of this, in my view, is coming from the notion that there is somebody somewhere in Dublin, and OPR, Department of Housing, who knows best how to plan this country. Now, if it were the case, Minister, if it were the case that that department had transformed this country, dealt with the housing crisis, planned our cities, stopped sprawl, done all those things, and done it effectively, that it knew when it abolished, say, for instance, bedsits, that this was a good thing, even though 10,000 dwellings in Dublin were obliterated. That was a good thing. That it knew that the strategic housing developments were a good thing, even though they were later abandoned. That it had the right approach to so many things. If I believe this agency really had a track record, this is the Department of Housing and the OPR, if I believe that conglomerate of executive power really had all the answers and had a track record to prove it, I'd have some sympathy with what's in this legislation. But I see the direct opposite. I see right across Ireland a very, very different reality, and that is that we constantly fail. And it's not for want of having a central plan, it's not for want of having a huge big planning act, it's for want of, for the very simple reason, in Dublin City, there is no plan to CPO land to rebuild streets. There is no